Arthur, you speak about the impact of communication style and culture on effective CI. Why is this so important for effective CI?
I think the easiest way is to demonstrate it. So imagine you're about to give a presentation to your board, and you start it a bit like this. Well, the results we had were not as encouraging as we'd have liked. And I'm not sure what conclusions you can really get from it, but we've spent the last 3 months researching. And just think whether you're going to be able to sell anything to your board if you come in looking as downhearted and depressed as that. So you have to be communicating in a way that the people who are going to be receiving what you're trying to communicate grab what you're getting, understand, and act on it. And one of the biggest problems in CI is faulty communication, where it doesn't take into account the needs of your listeners. So what you want to put across doesn't come across because it doesn't match what they want to hear. And I don't mean what they want to hear in terms of assumptions. It doesn't match what they want to hear in the way they want to hear it.
And how can companies deal with cultural differences?
To understand, well, there's a number of different ramifications to culture. There's culture in the sense, well, people talk about youth culture, that people talk about organizational culture, national culture. You know, famous examples is IBM. There was a specific IBM culture. There's a legal culture. And if you're looking at national cultures, which is more the sort of areas I'm particularly interested in, if you take, for instance, Southeast Asian cultures or Japan, China, the issue of face is extremely important. Whereas, for instance, Europe and the USA, it's a lot less important. So the expectations are going to be different. As a classic example, asking somebody from Japan a question that involves a yes or no answer. If they answer no, it's exceptional, especially unless they have some understanding of European culture, because essentially when you say no, you're accepting something is wrong. And if you accept something is wrong or not quite right for either of the parties, there's a loss of face. So the Japanese do their best to say yes. So if you want a yes-no answer, you don't say, do you like it here, which is a yes or no answer. You give an alternative. Is Bad Nauheim nice, or is Frankfurt nice? And that forces them to choose between the two.
Okay. And finally, will there be, you are talking about the future of CI on our expert talk. Will there be changes in the future that affect the way we need to deal with cultural differences?
Of course there will. Because as the world is becoming smaller, more and more people are going to need to understand what happens globally. 30, 40 years ago, a UK company, for example, would have considered it unusual to deal with China, possibly importing from Japan, but not necessarily selling into Japan. The idea that you might fly out to China and do business with Chinese people trying to sell to China was almost unheard of. You had to be a multinational to do that, and a big multinational. And most companies didn't do that. Today, even the smallest company will be trading internationally. If they're not, then it's going to be a very small service company. But any product type company has to work internationally. So they have to understand international cultures.
Arthur, thank you very much.
Thank you.